Hello and welcome back, everyone. We're here at the Konami Studios. I am Billy Brake. Joining me, of course, is Jerome McHale. And we are here to talk about the next core booster for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game. That's right, Alliance Insight. And I am quite excited to tell you about this brand new set.
You know, it's got big shoes to fill, right? It's coming off right after Quarter Century Stampede, which was huge, but I think that it's going to make the grade.
Oh, I definitely think it'll make the grade and is going to fulfill everyone's expectations. But we're going to talk about what are some of the exciting things you're going to be able to find in Alliance Insight here today. All right, so Alliance Insight reimagines some of Playmaker's very first Cybers monsters as Adagnister monsters. That's right, this includes Wizard Adagnister, which is of course Cybers Wizard, Backup Secretary, now Backup Adagnister, and of course the cute and forbidden Link Karibo has made his way back into the game as an Adagnister monster as well. But of course we can't leave out the cover card. That's right, Decode Talker also gets a brand new look, and that is going to be Allied Code Talker Adagnister. This is the cover card of the set. It's a Link 5 monster that's both a Code Talker and an Adagnister monster, and it's devastatingly strong in both strategies. And I know you Malice players are out there really excited to get your hands on this Allied Code Talker Adagnister, as it will play a vital role in your deck as well. There's even a new spell and a new trap that'll help advance your strategy and hinder your opponents. That's right, I Connect, and one of my favorite card names in the set, Sidekick. Lots of exciting stuff there for fans of Reigns and cyber strategies.
Naming those cards is always a good time, trying to figure out, where exactly can we put the AI in the card names. It's always a great time. So that's going to do it for our discussion of the cover card of the set. We've actually had some really good ones over the past few sets. I really like Neos Lord myself, being able to steal stuff away, and Shark Drake Vice as well. So this is just another one in a pretty good string of really cool cover monsters, going back all the way to Infant Forbidden, right? With Exodia.
Yeah, definitely. And even like Phantom Nightmare, it has the Yubel on the cover as well. Some fantastic cover monsters, and yeah, Alliance Insight is following that trend.
All right, well, what's winding down right now is our 25th anniversary celebration. So this is going to be the final core booster set with Quarter Century Secret Rares in it. And 25 is kind of it's an important number for Yu-Gi-Oh! And monsters in general. 2,500 attack points is often considered to be the protagonist stats, for instance. It's the attack points shared by Dark Magician, Elemental Hero Neos, Stardust Dragon, and so on. And in this final core booster set with Quarter Century Secret Rares, it's only fitting that we have an entire new theme around the number 2,500, and it's called Regenesis. The Regenesis monsters all have 2,500 attack points and 2,500 defense points. And most of them can be special summoned from your hand if you control a monster with 25 attack or defense. Actually, it's a little better than that. If there's one on the field, a monster with 2,500 attack points or defense points. There are a couple special ones, but I'll get to those in a moment. The key starter for the theme, as well as the card that you can win at a Core Booster Premier event. And by the way, the Core Booster Premier events have now been extended to 3 days. So starting April 25th, the Friday, and going through the Sunday.
Ooh, that's
so
exciting.
3 days to get your hands on Alliance Insight early.
Nice.
Very exciting. But the card that you can win there is the Regenesis Archfiend. It's a monster that you can special summon by revealing a monster with 2,500 attack points or defense points from your hand. And that lets you add any Regenesis card from your deck or banishment to your hand after you summon it. Now the boss monster, on the other hand, is Regenesis Lord. He's one of the coolest monsters we've had like ever. Regenesis Lord looks so cool. So cool we put it on a game mat twice. But more on that in a moment. So Regenesis Lord, you can special summon from your hand by banishing a face-up monster you control with 2,500 original attack points and defense points. Not or. In this case, it's got to be original. None of that sneaky taking your 2,000 guy and giving him 500 attack points. That's not gonna cut it here. Regenesis Lord is virtually unbeatable in battle, as it gains 2,500 more attack points during battle, reaching 5,000 attack points, and can inflict piercing damage. Now, if you want to see the full art of this card, you've got to get your hands on one of these game mats. So we've included Regenesis Lord as the key monster for the Nationals season. So if you're playing in a National during this season, you're going to be able to get your hands on this incredibly cool Regenesis Lord game mat.
Notice the card zones. Big fan of those. They
They're
look amazing.
really nice looking, right? This is a very RPG final boss going on here. Now, let's say you're not in a region that has nationals. For example, North America. Where can you get this game mat? Well, you can get it at the North American WCQ. Players that qualify through the last chance qualifiers at the event will be able to get the regional version of this game mat. And in addition to that, anybody who is playing in a regional event at the WCQ can also win a copy of this. Just one thing to note, if you already have your invite, do not enter a last chance qualifier. Don't do it.
Not a good idea.
Wait until you're out of the tournament and play in a regular regional over the weekend. There's going to be 100 of them, so I'm sure you'll be able to find a chance to try to win this. Now, as for how the Regenesis theme works, you're going to learn a little more about that later this weekend from one of our content creators. So look forward to that. Now, before we get off the topic of Regenesis, though, I'd like to throw out there a few suggestions for what kind of other monsters you might want to add to your Regenesis deck. So as we know, it just cares about the stats. It doesn't care about the name or anything else. So for our game today, I'm going to propose to you some wonderful monsters that you could use in your Regenesis deck if the stats are right.
All right, all right. Always love the games. Very excited to play.
All right, so I've got 5 monsters here. I'm going to tell you about them, how they can help out your Regenesis strategy, and what I need you to tell me once I'm done with all 5 is which one does not have either 2,500 attack points or defense points.
Okay, okay. I think I can do it.
All right, well, let me start you off with the wonderful Alpha, the Master of Beasts.
One of my favorite cards, so we're starting off strong.
What isn't? The toughest Regenesis monster summoned is always the first one, especially if you're going second.
Okay.
So why not make it a little easier on yourself with Alpha, the Master of Beasts? If you have no monsters on the field and your opponent has a face-up monster with at least 1 attack point, you can special summon Alpha from your hand, which then lets you flood the field. As a bonus, Alpha is great at breaking up your opponent's field without going to battle. And if you have Regenesis Archfiend in hand, you can take your opponent's best monster off the field and return Alpha to your hand to reveal. Next up, this one might not be one of your favorite monsters. It's Arch Nemesis Eschatos.
Not one of my favorite monsters.
We found one! We did it!
It's a cool one, though.
All right, well that's my personal quest achieved for the day.
All right, all right.
Regenesis monsters are all different types, so it's easy to get the 3 types you need to summon Arch Nemesis Eschatos. Now, it's not going to help you so much in the early game, but it is a good closer, being able to wipe the field of all monsters of a declared type and prevent your opponent from summoning more of them on the next turn. Now, it's not going to finish the duel by itself, it's just one monster. However, by banishing those 3 types, you're setting yourself up for a huge Regenesis birth for the win. Next up, Dogmatica Fleur-de-Lis, the Knighted. Now, there are no Regenesis extra deck monsters in Alliance Insight, so why not take advantage of Nadir's Servant and some Dogmatica cards? Dogmatica Fleur-de-Lis, the Knighted, is easy to pull out of your deck and can be held in hand for Archfiend, or summoned to the field for the other Regenesis monsters. With Nadir's Servant, you can start breaking up your opponent's field while adding Dogmatica Ecclesia to your hand. Then use Ecclesia to add Fleur-de-Lis, and now you've got the monster you need and a way to negate another monster's effects. Now, Archfiend and Lord are a little bit different, but the basic Regenesis monsters just need a 2,500 attack or defense monster to be on the field.
Right.
That can be your field or your opponent's. So why not tribute off your opponent's best monster and get them at Jizukuru, the star-destroying kaiju?
Ooh, that's a big one.
It also sets you up to get your Regenesis monsters on the field, but it's kind of large, so make sure that you can actually get rid of it first. And
yeah, you have to have a lot of attack points if you're wanting to destroy a star.
A little bit. And then finally, put the Fear of the Gores into your opponents by revealing it to special summon Regenesis Archfiend from your hand. Some Regenesis monsters have effects that contribute themselves to set your opponent's strategy back, so you can easily clear out your own field if need be to create the conditions for Gores' effect. And when Battles of the Legend Monster Mayhem drops, the new Tiny Art version of Gores, the Emissary of Darkness, will be ready to tiny terrorize your opponent into attacking with their tiniest monster first.
I want it so bad.
Right?
I want that little
it
tiny
looks
TV
amazing.
doors.
It's so good.
Can't wait for Battles of Legend.
All right, so let me go over the monsters again. It's Alpha, the Master of Beasts, Arch Nemesis Eschatos, Dogmatica Flirtalis the Knighted, Jizukiru the Star-Destroying Kaiju, and Gors the Emissary of Darkness. Which of these does not have either 2,500 attack points or 2,500 defense points?
Well, Jerome, I have to say, I know the answer.
Good.
But Alpha, 3,000 attack, 2,500 defense points for sure.
Yep.
So it's not Alpha Master of the Beast. Arch Nemesis Ishatos, that one's a little tougher for me, but I'm pretty sure it's similar stats to Protos, but maybe flipped, which I am more familiar with, which is has a 3,000 and 2,500 stat line somewhere. I'm not sure where it goes on Ishatos, but not 100% on that one, but I'm pretty sure it has 2,500 on the defense of Ishatos. What was the next one?
The third one is Dogmatica Flirtalis.
Flirtalis, that one's kind of an easy one. Equal attack and defense. That one would fulfill the conditions for the specific Regenesis monsters. They need them to equal. That's 2,500 attack and 2,500 defense. And then the last one.
The last two.
Well, we can skip over the next one, but what was the last one?
The last is Gors.
Gors, that one's an easy one. 2,500 defense. You always usually like to summon attack mode, but sometimes in defense mode.
It's seared into your brain, isn't
seared.
it? From seeing so many Gorses drop.
So that leaves Jizukiru? Jizukiru, yeah, I always have a hard time saying that one. But the Star-Destroying Kaiju, notoriously known for being the biggest one, so you can summon it to your side of the field after you give your opponent. The weakest has 3,300 attack. I think its defense is close to 2,500, but I think it's more. I'm not sure, maybe 26, 2,700, but that is the one, that is the imposter. That one is not a Regenesis card that works with the Regenesis ones. That's what I'm calling.
Jizukiru, the Star-Destroying Kaiju, has 3,300 attack points and 2,600 defense points. However, there are many Kaiju monsters that do have 2,500 defense, such as Kumungus, the Sticky String Kaiju, and Radian, the Dimensional Kaiju.
So plenty of good Kaiju options for Regenesis.
Yep. And there's also Santa Claus as well that has appropriately 2,500 defense. I mean, everybody knows why his stats are 1,200, 2,500, right? If not, think about it. Take a look at your calendar. It'll come to you.
Ho, 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 who knows?
So there are a lot of good monsters of that kind. So everything I said about Jizukiru can also be applied to those other Kaiju. And they're easier to take out as well. Kumungus has less than 2,500 attack points.
I really like the Alpha. You can find a way to incorporate Alpha the Master of the Beast, sign me up.
I liked it in Vanquish Soul.
Yeah.
I played in my Vanquish Soul over the summer.
Yeah, clear the board and get that Earth back in your hand. Earth's one of the harder attributes to have for the Vanquish Soul effects. Yeah, I really like that, yeah.
Big fan of Alpha. So that's going to do it for our game and our discussion of Regenesis. Make sure to check out our content creators later this week, as one of them will be bringing you the whole lowdown on how the Regenesis cards work and the overall strategy. So we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, Dragon Rulers.
Welcome back to everyone watching at home, and a big welcome back to one of the most iconic, devastating, game-changing themes that Yu-Gi-Oh! Has ever experienced. That's right, it's the Dragon Rulers. When I saw we were getting new Dragon Ruler cards, my excitement could not be contained. I was so pumped for them, and now they are finally going to be here and coming to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game yet again. Jerome, are you a Dragon Ruler fan?
Nope.
It's okay.
However, when I see those quarter-century ones from Bonanza, my heart wavers a little bit. Just a little bit, though.
Yeah.
How many QC Dragon Rulers do you have?
Not enough, not enough. I want to get play sets of all of them. One day I will maybe be able to complete my whole collection, but I'm going to have to get all of the new ones that we're going to find here in Alliance Insight. And that's right. So let's talk about Dragon Rulers. The very first Dragon Rulers released in Lord of the Tachyon Galaxy. Boy, do I remember that. Back in 2013. Boy, is that a long time ago. But man, they're really good cards. They overtook the entire metagame. Every single one of them has been forbidden at one time or another. And now, against all odds, I mean, I don't know if I ever anticipated new Dragon Rulers coming. They're back and they're getting new cards. The original Dragon Rulers were Earth, Wind, Water, and Fire. And now Alliance Insight will round out the team with Light and Dark Dragon Rulers, including their so-called baby forms. So first up, we have Spectral, Dragon Ruler of Flickers, and Nebulous, Dragon Ruler of Mishaps. Some of my favorite things about the old baby rulers was always those little names for like Reactin, the Dragon Ruler of Pebbles. Like it's a smaller version. And this here, the Flickers and the Mishaps. You're going to want to get your hands on these awesome baby ruler cards.
Dragon Ruler of Mishaps is a tremendous name.
It's tremendous.
It really is.
It is exceptional for sure. And they're cute as can be, but also quite powerful. And unlike the original Dragon Rulers, this time they have their own Xyz monsters. So you see these are light or dark. Let's go ahead and move on to the rank 7 Xyz monsters. That's right, the adult Light and Dark and Dragon Rulers. There's 2 of the 3 of them we're going to be looking at here. Shazma, Dragon Ruler of Auroras, and Eclipse, Dragon Ruler of Catastrophes. Now these rank 7s work really well with all the other Dragon Rulers of the past, so you're going to want to make sure you have all of them and include them in your deck and see how you can manage to master all of the elements with the new Dragon Ruler cards. Now I mentioned there was a 3rd rank 7 Xyz monster, so let's go ahead and take a look at that one. That's right, it is going to be the final Dragon Ruler, and it's going to ask you to gather all 6 of the adult Dragon Rulers as Xyz materials. And if you do, it is unstoppable. That's right, it's Disaster Dragon Ruler of all apocalypses. And it really means apocalypses if you get this thing on the field and fully online. Now, they're not only just these new monsters for Dragon Rulers, it wouldn't be the same without some spell or trap cards that will be able to help. So let's go and take a look at the new spell cards for the Dragon Ruler deck. There's 2 new ones, Here There Be Dragons, and 7 Stars Slash. Army Annihilation Hagen? Is that how you say it? Hagen, I believe? Yep, Hagen. One of the 2 ways. But definitely brand new cards. If you remember Sacred Sword of the 7 Stars, this quick play spell card will also let you access your Dragon Ruler monsters via equipping them from the deck, which is kind of a cool way to get your attributes online. And Here There Be Dragons. There indeed do be dragons here, and you're not going to want to miss them. I really can't believe the Dragon Rulers are back on the menu to be a viable deck for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game, but here they are. Once all forbidden, now they are unlimited and ready to go with the new cards from Alliance Insight.
Now, one thing I got to say about the whole Dragon Ruler thing is while I didn't like the Dragon Ruler format overall, I thought it was way too centralized, really, around that one deck. One thing that I did like is that it had a way to play Dracosac, Mecha Phantopiece, Dracosac, number 11, Big Eye. Those 2 Xyz monsters I like a lot.
Definitely.
So I got to give them some credit for getting a couple Xyz monsters I really like into play.
Yeah, you'd think the Dragon Rulers could fly, but they still need to take a plane everywhere they went.
Right? Sometimes got to get a couple tokens to go along with them just to make sure.
Definitely.
And those cards have been showing up in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! As well as part of the Kashtira deck and decks that run that kind of Kashtira engine as well. So, if you've kept your Dracosacs and your Big Eyes for all this time, make sure you don't put them away. Keep them out. You're going to need them coming up. All right. So, our last main theme that we're going to talk about here for Alliance Insight is the new cards for the Diabellstar, Diabellze, Azumina, Sinful Spoils I mean,
Did you get them all?
we're just at, I don't think I got
White
them all.
Forest.
White Forest as well. They're all here. The gang's all here except for Goblin Bikers. They're not here anymore, unfortunately. But in Alliance Insight, we're going to see the thrilling climactic battle between Diabellstar and Diabellze and Azumina. So in this battle, Diabellstar is going to risk it all on a dangerous transformation where she goes all out with all of her accumulated sinful spoils. You can kind of see all of them there throughout the different art in the set. This card is Filia Diabell. That's a level 8 or higher Diabell monster from your deck to your hand. What Diabell monsters are that? Well, the Snake Eyes Diabellstar, I believe, is level 8. But what we're really asking you to get here is the new Diabellstar Vengeance. It's a monster that can destroy anything at any time, but it'll cost half your life to do it. Now, pair Diabellstar Vengeance with another Diabell monster like Diabellze the White Witch, a new Diabellze monster. And when you do that, you'll also get to summon a spellcaster or illusion tuner synchro monster from your extra deck. So there's all your White Forest cards coming together all at one to fight against Azumina. Now, their foe is the newly awakened Azumina. Not Queen Azumina anymore, not even Saint Azumina, but just Azumina.
Just Azumina.
It is an incredibly dangerous monster. It starts with 4,000 attack and defense points. You can fusion summon it with Queen Azumina and a fusion or synchro monster, so one of those Azumina or White Forest cards. But you could also summon it by tributing Saint Azumina. That's the one from Supreme Darkness, alongside one of your opponent's monsters.
Nice.
Now, the Withering Curse of Azumina drains away all of your monster's attack points by 500 every time your opponent activates a card or effect. And any monster whose attack reaches 0 like this just kind of loses the will to live. It can no longer activate its effects while under the pall of Azumina. Now, who will triumph? What is it going to cost? You'll find out when Alliance Insight releases. Now, that's it for new themes that are showing up in Alliance Insight. I mean, realistically, Diabell's kind of, or the capstone of a number of themes from the last couple of years. But we're also bringing out a lot of new cards for current themes and things from the last year. For example, you're going to see new cards for Ryzeal. You're going to see new cards for Malice. You see new cards for Ryuge, so all the 3 themes from Crossover Breakers. You're also going to get new cards, and these ones are pretty darn good, for Argostars from Supreme Darkness. And then you're also going to get some classics like Eldritch, the Live Twins, both of which you saw in the 3rd Anniversary Master Duel event, as well as Cyber Dragons and Cyber Darks. And you'll be able to find out more about all of these cards later on this week from one of our content creators.
I'm really pumped about those cards. Lots of cool new ways to play older strategies and their contemporary kind of effects to really revitalize those themes.
And in fact, speaking of revitalize, it's not necessarily a revitalization, more like moving out on their own. So the Mitsurugi World Premiere theme that started in Supreme Darkness has already seen some play as a side engine in Ryzeal decks through King of the Feral Imps being a rank 4 Xyz monster. But 7 more Mitsurugi cards are coming out in Alliance Insight. And we're going to show those to you before we head out for the day.
Yep, that's right. We'll be able to end the day with those Mitsurugi reveals, find out what cards are going to be in that second wave. As Jerome has hinted at, they do help the strategy kind of play as a cohesive one unit and not as a subtype into another deck. Really excited about the brand new Mitsurugi cards. Alliance Insight overall is a fantastic set. You're not going to want to miss out on it. There's something for new cards to add to your decks, new cards that are going to make the decks you already have a little bit stronger, along with some new things, you're going to want to try out. And some amazing Quarter Century Secret Rares. I do think this is the last core booster before the Quarter Century Secret Rares go away, so don't miss your chance to get your hands on those as well. We have the premiere event coming up.
Oh, the regional season as well. Actually, before we go, I should show you this. So we talked about what you'll get at the WCQ if you play in a regional, but how about during the actual Alliance Insight season? Well, we've got this incredibly cool Dragon Ruler game mat with Shazma and Eclipse.
Oh yeah,
this thing is
it is beautiful,
sweet, right?
Yeah, I love it. Yep, Eclipse and Shazma, the two of the 3 new rank 7 Dragon Ruler monsters featured on the game mat. Beautiful. Can't wait to watch other people get their hands on it while I get to watch from the sidelines. But yeah, Alliance Insight is going to be an incredible set. You're not going to want to miss it. You're going to find out more from our content creators, as Jerome mentioned, coming up later this week. So stay tuned. Keep your ear to the ground. And yeah, thank you for joining us. Do you have any final thoughts, final words?
Check out these Mitsurugi cards. They're nice.
They are very cool. So without further ado, go and check out the brand new Mitsurugi cards from Alliance Insight. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back next time for our next core booster intro. So until then, remember, it's time to duel.